Well, hello again. This is Hetty/Heather. You'll know me off of mainly Alive and Me off of Twitter. And then my next one, you'll know me from Epilepsy Cures. I'm the one who yaps from both my sites. That goes on and have been praying for and is actually moving forth. Going on my third brain surgery, so that's what most people will know me for, and my blogs of just, how I found Jesus and such, and, I just recently actually started a third Twitter account with a friend of mine who, has such strong faith, and she also has gone through her own predicaments in life. Her addiction was with alcohol. And, we all have some sort of addiction in life. Fortunately, mine changed. Mine was, as you probably have seen from my blogs or, just talking to me and or, just some of my YouTubes. But, that was my biggest way of finding Jesus that, I can oddly, thank him for is having that addiction that struck me. It was after my ex beat me, after my first brain surgery, that my body recalled, oh, high dose of phenobarbital. And that was my anti-seizure drug that I was on my whole life. And so, it just recalled that, wow, it's pretty good at numbing the pain. So, I'm going to try that out again. And so anytime I get down or just wanted to ignore it or just not feel anything, that's what I would do. Or if he'd call, from Iraq when he was over there, my ex, and we'd have to deal with stuff. And, that's how I dealt with it. And, my husband today, had to walk through so much of it. And, I commend him so much for it, because he only didn't deal with it then prior to getting married. But, we talked to my neurologist to put me back on it for my marriage so that I wouldn't, have a seizure down the aisle. And he's a blessing, my neurologist, and he did do that if my husband now would monitor it. And, he slipped one day when I was having a bad day, and I, once again, had that bad day, and it just, that bottle spoke to me. I would like to blame the bottle, but, it's my own stupidity, and that's where addiction comes in. We can blame this, we can blame that, we can point at this, or we can point at that. I heard so many people say, even at my own church, that's not my church's fault. It's just how a lot of people will, try to roll it off for you. Oh, blame the devil. And, yes, he interacts, and he gives us temptations, but we have, complete full right to choose, and that's free will. And when you're standing there, and with me it was holding a bottle of pills, knowing I was a single mom raising a beautiful child, or if you're just, out there, and you're at the nearest bar and you've been clean for, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and tick tock, it calls you, and it's just so tough. And, and that's where, it's reaching for Jesus, and that's where how I'm still sitting here talking today, is that I was saved, not just saved, the technical word, by, being found, and raising my hands and asking him into my life, being saved, but literally being saved, because when I actually OD'd that last time in October of 2003, because I had a huge, fallout with my ex about, well, you beat me, the year before, and in October too. And he just all of a sudden was in this total denial. And so it just turned into this big argument. And it just threw me over the edge. And, I just didn't have that strength because I was seeking Jesus. And even when you're higher or blown out of your mind, when you're seeking him, you can still find him, because during that whole year I was seeking him on a good portion, blasted. And, I still had him so deep in my heart. And I can go down lists of all these memories, and even my husband knows and remembers the memories that I have of, just verses that touched me or music that got to me and moments that I'd be like, whoa, and I could feel him. And it was that night that, I whispered to him and that he saved me. And that's just addiction. Addiction is addiction. And there are so many types out there. My ex, for one, I didn't know about it until later. I mean, he's got several, but, the one I found out that he had when we were married early in our marriage, other than cheating on me, so addiction to other women, but then it wound up being addiction to child pornography. Not just any pornography, and there's a lot out there. And, that's, my husband ran into that with his last wife because they didn't have any intimacy. So, there's a lot of different types of addictions that come into our lives for all these different reasons that sometimes we don't even, we're not the ones who say, this is what I'm going to, jump at, or think that, oh gosh, that's definitely going to come into my life because, I know it's just, that's not it. We would think it would never be us sometimes, and boom, it hits. And that's why I was always shocked at like some of the movies I loved or songs I loved back in the 90s, because it almost like laid out my future. It was just like, God was just like holding my hand, for future purposes or something. But, and you gotta remember, it's not just us today, living in this dark, dark world. It's back, even in the Bible from 1 Kings and chapter 19, Elijah. And he was one that was absolutely, he was stricken, and he was one that was absolutely just one depressed soul that, he ran, I guess, into a cave and just didn't want to come out, and he wished to die. And it took God, sending angels to minister to him, for God to, basically provide the bits that he needed to give him that comfort in his loneliness. And all of a sudden, he began this whole new life that he wasn't leading because of God's loving care that he does provide when we allow him to. And that's the key thing. When we don't and we shut him out and we turn our backs, if we don't know about him, and gosh almighty, when people are going through stuff, I pray every day if people are going through stuff like me that something is knocking, because, I had, little tidbits here and tidbits there when I was 19 and plus, but it seems so much like, Jesus was really rattling on my door more than anybody. But he did do wonders. And so, every time that I see somebody, going through hard times, I do my best to reach out, and that's why we have this new site up. And it's, for Katie to also reach out with all she's gone through and share with others and let everyone know that not anyone's alone in all addictions out there. And there are plenty out there. And so anyone out there with addictions, come and join us on Twitter and, share your story. And I would love to have your testimony too. I have a site that I would like to post it on. And so just go ahead and knock on our Twitter door, and that one will be at Fill My Void is what it's named. And both me and Katie run that. And as for the blog, just send it to me. So, just send me your email there, or you can send it to me at Alive in Me. And, or just, email me at that name. Oh my gosh, at fillmyvoid@gmail.com. And if you can email me your testimony there or any questions, I can also pick it up there. And that's where I can go ahead and post it to my blog that will go up when I read it, and just go over it and put a little front patch on it for you. But it'll be amazing and it'll be neat, and I thank you all so much for joining. So please come follow, and I thank you all and pray you have a great night. God bless.